Good morning class 12. Welcome to yet another session of political science. We are getting started with a new chapter, that is India's external relations. Children, it is very important to understand that why a country needs to have a specific foreign policy. See, without a foreign policy, a country cannot operate in a strategical manner, and without having a strategy, we cannot be successful either if we talk about a game or either if we talk about politics. So strategy is a must and key ingredient of politics. So that is why we are trying to understand that how India used to maintain relations, or how did Indian leaders think of creating a specific sort of strategy for maintaining relationships with the neighboring nations, or if we talk in international context then too. So let us begin. First, understanding the international context. As you know, world is a global village nowadays, but when India had attained independence, it was not the same. India was not a very prosperous country. It had economic hardships. India was basically an agro-based country, and 85% to 80% were totally indulged or related with agricultural practices. As you have read in your previous chapters also, the agricultural practices were being done by traditional methods, and the farmer in India had a tendency to produce for their own selves. So in such a country where there was not popular leadership, sorry, not a lot of financial, what to say, independence. Moreover, the leaders were also trying to shape up a new policy for through the 5-year plan. So the first 5-year plan, as I told you, was based on agriculture. The second 5-year plan was based on industries. So these were the times that while dealing on the national sphere, our Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had to cope up with external relations or international relations in the meanwhile. So, in the international context, as you all know, after Second World War, two ideologies were prevailing. One was that of capitalism, and the leader of this ideology was USA. The another ideology that was popular in those days was of communism or socialism, which was being represented by USSR. So these countries were pushing and pulling the newly independent nations. So in such a scenario, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru came with a very witty answer, and that answer was the policy of non-alignment. So you have already read about this policy in your previous chapters. First, just for a revisional drawback, I am telling you, non-alignment is a policy where the Indian leadership tried to maintain a safe distance from both the superpowers. Either if we talk of USA, which was a democratic country, either if we talk about USSR, which was promoting the ideology of communism. So India was trying to maintain a very safe distance. It was trying to maintain friendship also, but it did not wanted to follow any of these ideologies in a blindfolded manner. So that is why India took this policy where it was not supporting any specific ideology, nor it was maintaining at most different from any of the superpowers. Now, what was Nehru's role? This idea of NAM was basically an invention of 5 leaders, as you already know: Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Joseph Broz Tito, Sukarno, Nkrumah Kwame, and Sukarno. So these 5 leaders were responsible for the framing of the ideology of NAM, and definitely Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had a vital role to play in this ideology. Why? Because he was one of the 5 people who initiated the thought process in this manner. As I have told you earlier also, the the basic motive was to keep distance from both the camps. Neither they wanted to support, neither they wanted to oppose. So they wanted to create their own different path where they were not intervening in the politics of the country, or they were not offending the ideology of any of these superpowers. Now let us talk about Afro-Asian unity. See children, many countries of Africa became independent after the year 1947. India was one of them, Pakistan came into being, Bangladesh came into being, and many countries from Africa became independent after these countries attaining independence. So once they were attaining independence, once they were coming out of the clutches of the colonial powers, they wanted their due respect. They wanted some recognition in international community which they were not getting. So India decided to support such newly independent nations, which you have learnt in your first chapter in the name of the third world countries. So which are the third world countries? The countries which have attained independence after the scenario of 1947. All such countries we count in the name of third world countries. So India decided to support such African or Asian countries who had attained independence after this span of time, and it gave them recognition also, support, say financial, say technical, or food grains, or whatsoever way India could help out. So India was always there to support these newly independent nations. In the advent of this unity, there were one by one conferences being conducted. One is the Bandung conference, which was conducted in the city of Indonesia. Indonesia is a country, so Bandung is a city over there. And it was conducted in 1955, where all these countries met and they tried to chalk out a policy where they can maintain their self-dignity also, they could preserve their dignity, and they could exist in the world politics also. After that, through the Dias of Nam, the first summit of Nam was being conducted in the city of Belgrade, and the year was 1961. So this much for today. Please go through the pages, try to understand. Thank you so much.